flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Set one here.
Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci. Here. Mrs. Delaney.
Here.
Mrs. McBride. Here. Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Dr. Singh. Here. Mrs. Warren. Here. And Mr. Williams.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Isha. We had an executive session to discuss Kevin Dick. I'm just kidding. To discuss personnel matters.
That's so funny. I just saw you back there.
Before we get into all the boring stuff, we've got Braden Bungard here to talk to us about the SGA.
Or in the school in general. Get up there and tell us what you got, please.
Hi everyone.
Bye.
How's everyone doing?
Great.
Is this, hi. I don't know. I'm not gonna look at that or speak into that.
You're doing great.
Okay. All right. So here are the Gateway High School happenings. I feel like I'm teaching here. The 2023 to 2024 school year is off to a really great start. Here are some of the highlights we have so far. So we had our homecoming carnival, which was at the beginning of October, and we had many clubs and sports teams come together to not only bring a fun time to students, but their families as well.
Funny.
Our homecoming dance itself, the theme was Destination Miami, which was hosted at the Doubletree. This was a huge turnout with many students showing up and supporting the hard work our students put in. Here are some images from the homecoming setup. So here is our homecoming court. We have Taylor Allen, Jayla Chase, Rebecca Ryan, Michelina Estremera, and Zaria Salter. The homecoming court, I'll move to the next slide. The homecoming court was presented with the Gateway Band at the homecoming football game. Here is Gateway's 2024 homecoming queen, Taylor Allen. Now, there were some questions that she was asked. What do you like best about being a Gator? She said, what I like best about being a Gator is the passion and drive we have to succeed. No matter what we go through, we get through it and support each other, even the teachers.
Hey.
Great.
What are your plans after graduation? To continue my cheer career and attend a 4-year HBCU for cardiorespiratory therapy. Wonderful. My notes went away. We all just love technology, don't we? The Mountain Bike Club. The club successfully mapped a 1.5-mile trail and is preparing for its inaugural use. They received several donations, such as bikes, helmets, and supplies from the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Cycling League and Trek. They are aiming to form an interscholastic team for competitions in the fall. They expressed their gratitude towards the school board and community for the ongoing support. Next up, we have the bocce team. The Gateway bocce team attended a corporate bocce day at American Eagle headquarters in October. The unified sports team was one of 4 featured teams from the areas to work with American Eagle employees. Bocce team was also invited to attend the CASE conference at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. The Chick-fil-A Leader Academy gave hundreds of books to second graders across Gateway School District. By doing this, those students shared leadership principles and personal notes with elementary students. The Gateway Leadership Academy is supported by Mr. Brian Wagner, Dr. Marcy Klinger, Miss Dawn Nicolazo, and Miss Regan Reader. The National Honor Society is doing a backpacking project which continues to provide food backpacks for Gateway families in need. Our History Club hosted 2 programs, Violins of Hope and the Veterans Day program, which were very successful turnouts, with the Violins of Hope teaching students of the Holocaust and the effect that it had on the Jewish society. And the Veterans Day featured 8 veterans fostering respect and awareness among students. the Interact Club sent 16 different volunteers, sent several volunteers to 16 different events at the beginning of school, and they have 3 other events in the month of December. They have supported various local organizations reflecting a strong commitment to community service. The PBIS Kickoff Party. On Halloween, students with fantastic behavior received an award which allowed them to see a movie or partake in an activity, that of being an escape room or a craft.
What does PBIS stand for?
That is a great question. I do not know.
It's a positive behavior initiative.
Okay.
So how this works is we have a Gator Grit card system. Students demonstrating respect in hallways are acknowledged with these cards. Then these cards are put into a pool, which then their names are pulled from that pool, and they are selected and they are allowed to choose from several activities that were previously listed. The No Place for Hate field trip was organized by the No Place for Hate advisor, Mrs. Dudek, with assistance from Kara Jenkins. Special thanks to Dr. Chakey for sponsoring the event. A busload of high school students embarked on this diverse-oriented field trip, accompanied by Betty Howard, Corinne Fleming, and Carrie Kunick from Moss-Side Mentor Group. The title of the documentary they saw was Black Barbie, which will soon be available on Netflix. This was viewed at the Harris Theater. This documentary, directed by Larigura Davis, sorry if I mispronounced that, delves into the story behind the creation of Black Barbie in 1980 by Mattel. The impact of this film explores the importance of representation in childhood toys, emphasizing how dolls like Barbies are not just playthings, but essential elements in shaping identity and fostering imagination in children. Here's a photo from this showing. And here are some events that we are looking forward to. We are looking forward to the Turkey Trot, which is scheduled for Wednesday, tomorrow, during 7th and 8th period on the track. This is a spirited event aimed at promoting fitness, school spirit, and community involvement. This is not only a fun and engaging activity, but also plays a crucial role in supporting Gator families with winter clothing and holiday gifts. This event provides a platform for students and teachers to actively contribute to a meaningful cause, showcasing the spirit of generosity and teamwork within the school. The Turkey Trot stands as a testament to the school's commitment to fostering a sense of community engagement and support among students and staff. It's a chance to bring everyone together for a cause that extends beyond the school, positively impacting families within the Gateway School District. Here's our flyer for the Turkey Trot, which will be tomorrow. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who wants this?
I got it.
Never give me that.
No.
Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you.
Can I ask what time is 7th and 8th period?
7th and 8th period.
So 7th period starts at, let me think, 1:19?
It starts 12:53 if we want to be really exact.
Oh, so that's, okay, yeah.
12:53
12:53, and until the end of the day.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening. Thanks. Move on to comments from residents on agenda items. Anybody? Turn that light back on, Bonnie. Like to see there. Nope, none. All right. We have board member discussion items. Sit over there with Mr. Ritter. Anybody? No? Yeah, this is excellent. How about minutes of previous meetings? Do I hear any motions about that? So moved. Thank you, Scotty. Seconded. Moved and seconded. Any questions on the minutes? Nope. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Excellent. All right, let's go, Dr.
All right,
Rossi.
thank you. Mike?
Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Result that the Gateway Board of School Directors approved the list of bills, financial statements, and budget transfers as listed at the Tuesday, November 21st, 2023 regular board meeting as listed in item 1.
So moved.
Second.
That motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions on this section? Anybody?
Nope.
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rossi. We have two resignations, both the retirements of both Bonnie Isha and Matt Klarick from the middle school. Thank both of them for their years of service to the district. We have 11 leave of absences as noted on the agenda. Various employments, including 2 individuals being approved for tutoring, 6 event workers, the issuance of a stipend for the board secretary position, recognizing the tenure of 5 employees for the district, along with rescinding and issuance of supplementals, volunteers within the various buildings in the district, and a resolution for termination of employee 4969.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by the morning, second by Andrea, can you explain what tenure is?
Ooh, but you're giving me an awful here. So I'm learning that myself. Tenure is awarded to professional employees after 3 years of continuous service within a district. With that being said, the last 6 months or 4 months, don't quote me on that, for the last few months leading up to tenure status being achieved, the individual has to have satisfactory service to the district. Mr. Dice, did I miss anything?
Well, the effective tenure means that you just can't terminate somebody without cause.
Correct.
They get a certain property right in their job when they receive tenure.
Okay.
Sir?
That's keeping it simple.
Can I ask about number 6, the rescind? What's happening?
Those were individuals that previously put in and have asked to no longer be considered for those supplemental positions. So they were previously board approved.
Did we change the choreographer pay? Is that the reason for that one?
Oh, yep, absolutely. So it appears that that was a misrepresentation of the compensation amount.
And I think.
And then we had a movement as well.
Yeah, I see the 7th and 8th, okay. Thank you.
If we vote no to the first resignation, does that mean yes?
If only.
Are there any other questions?
I just want to say, I'm just gonna, Bonnie, I appreciate everything you've done. It's been phenomenal. I know you're still here for a little bit, but we are gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you. Because it's my last name.
I'm not gonna miss you because you live right behind me.
Yeah. He's stealing his vegetables out of his garden.
Any other questions in personnel? Nope. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? There you go.
Dr. Jenke. Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves and authorizes the following items as listed at the regular board meeting of Tuesday, November 21st. Item number 1, approve the following policy recommendations that were placed on 30-day display. Item number 2, approve the 30-day display of the following policy. Item 3, approve the e-signature resolution for PA Department of Education grants and documents. Item number 4, approve the agreement with the Pittsburgh After School Academy program. Item 5, approve the electronic subscription agreement worksheet and student questionnaire for the Olveus Bullying Prevention Program. Item 7, approve the following agreements as listed. Item 8, approve the additional member of the Comprehensive Plan Committee. Item 9, approve the following booster groups for the 23-24 school year. Item 10, approve the facility agreements as listed. Item 11, approve the conference as listed. And item 12, approve in accordance with section 404 of the PA School Code, the appointment of Janet Escott as school board secretary to fill the unexpired term of Bonnie Isha, commencing on December 7th, 2023 through June 30th, 2025.
Item 13, approve Tricog Land Bank's notice of proposed property disposition for one Monroeville property and one Pitcairn property located within the Gateway School District, as listed in Exhibit I. Item 14, approval of the change orders Gateway Middle School renovation project construction fund for the 23-24 fiscal year, as listed in items 1 through 8. Item 15, approval of the continued membership in the Allegheny Intermediate Units Number 3 Joint Purchasing Program for 2024-2025 fiscal year. Item 16, acceptance of the district donations received during the 2023-24 fiscal year. The donor is the Grable Foundation, $486 to benefit the students of the Cleveland Stewart Elementary School for the Be Kind to Kid program in action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Are there questions on that big section?
What happened to the transportation routing software?
We were waiting on the actual agreement, and we didn't get the agreement, so we pulled it.
Okay.
We're gonna shoot for December 5th.
I'm just gonna, we had discussed this at Building and Grounds meeting regarding Gateway Middle School, the new school. With all these change orders, we can say, I'm not gonna say it, but does it look like we would be opening in March when we had talked about it?
Based on the information we received at the Building and Grounds Committee, I think it would be our recommendation that we delay the move until the fall of 2024.
Okay.
So noted.
So just in the interest of transparency, I know people pay attention sort of in the macro. Number 14 has a number of change orders, and I suspect not lots of people will look at this very closely. This batch of change orders amounts to another $341,000. If folks had attended the Buildings and Grounds meeting that have heard discussions about the how and the why of this, I can assure the community that nobody's happy about this. We are told repeatedly that this is not terribly unusual for a project of this size, that we are within the percentage of change orders that one would typically see. That said, I just have this sense that we've it almost feels like a bit of failure. We were clear when this started. Tell us, what it's going to cost so we can tell the community what it's going to cost. And what we've now discovered is that, again, this seems to be par for the course, but we're the messengers of this bad news, and nobody up here likes it. It would be easy to simply vote no to this, but our solicitor would tell you that would wind up in court sooner rather than later, and it would drag out the process even further. And I'd like to think we've learned great lessons, but unless we're renovating another school soon, I don't know what good they're going to do us. So sorry, that was a long-winded way of apologizing for what's about to happen. At least for me. I'm not apologizing for anyone else, for me.
I have a follow-up on that. Maybe Bruce, you can answer this. Where it says replace glass from vandals. Now, would that be a change order, or would our insurance cover anything vandalized?
Replace glass from vandals.
Replace glass from vandals that went in there and broke stuff and destroyed stuff.
You should have insurance coverage for that.
Our insurance is $25,000 deductible, so we'll get the difference.
And he makes the point, we have a large deductible, which has to be paid out first.
Right.
Well, speaking of vandals, do we have any
More vandalism?
Do we have any, like, video, or
If you know who the
do we,
vandals are, they could be prosecuted.
if anybody in the community knows who damaged our brand-new building that's not even open yet for our students? It would be nice if you came forward and told us. Maybe we could even offer a reward for that.
Could.
My question is, this is off the thing now, I noticed all the gates are down. So is everything completed in the back so they cannot enter the building? Does anybody know about that?
I would assume not. The auditorium, last time we were there, needed a lot of work, and they're still trying to clear the floor in the gymnasium so they can do the floors in the gymnasiums.
So are we doing anything to prevent anyone going in there?
Check with Bob. I was thinking that back would have been enclosed, but obviously the inside is wide open, but the door, I'm thinking was there. I'll double check with Bob.
But what you're really talking about are gates.
The fences that were. Right.
Yeah.
So-
Everything's gone.
Yeah, is Bob here?
He went home sick.
Oh, well, yeah, that question's been asked before. I don't know if we ever got a satisfactory answer. If that thing's secured at 3:31 when they're all heading out the door.
Exactly.
All right, any other questions?
Go ahead.
Good. No? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
What are we eyeing and knowing about?
He's doing the whole section. Do you have a comment?
Yes, I'm voting no on 13.
Oh, then let-
Everything else is on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought after we had our last.
opposition to the
No, I understand, but we had a meeting with TriCog, and okay, no worries. Sorry, we should have done that. You want to do it individually so it's on the record?
That's fine. She has it.
Go ahead, Tony, right? Okay.
Beautiful. Okay, we're on the board member resolution.
We have one revised policy for final approval, 005 and 006.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions?
This is the one for the president term.
Oh, I didn't think it was.
That was not supposed to
Organization
wait.
and meetings.
Supposed to wait until.
This one we're waiting.
Right.
Well, it's already on the floor now.
Motion to table can always happen.
Say that again?
Can table it.
Motion to table can always happen
What?
before it's voted on.
So just for the folks at home listening in, this was a policy proposed that if you get a president and you want to keep that president for multiple terms in a row, there's a policy that says a president's only supposed to be in office for a certain number of terms.
And it's two.
Two.
Rotate out. And so that's a policy, and the question is, can and should it be changed? It was suggested that we wait until the new board takes their seat next month in order to make the motion to do that. It's been tabled for a little while so that we can look at it. The alternative to this is, at any time, any board can vote to override that policy if they want to.
That's correct.
It's
That's correct. It's merely a policy.
But so it's
It's merely a recommendation.
I've done this a few times, but when you do the reorg in December, don't you do the reorg and vote for the president before you have the meeting? Wouldn't it make sense to have this done now versus next month in case so the new board has flexibility
So
on
there's both sides of
electing
the
a
argument. We
president?
could do it now or do it later. There are pros and cons to each.
And he can reorganize at any meeting.
Yes.
So really, it's-
Personally, I'm comfortable letting the two new board members weigh in on this.
I don't, I say call them up.
There you go. Well,
I say table it.
Is the motion for
You have to make a
You
motion.
have to make a motion.
Okay.
all kinds of stuff
the
happening
is the
here.
I believe so.
Number one,
No,
Valerie's
number one.
motion to table.
Valerie's trying to make a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Got 2 seconds. And a third, maybe. All right, so there you
No
go.
discussion, now you vote on the table.
Vote.
Sarah, roll call, please. Ms. Isha.
Mrs. Sarucci.
No.
Mrs. Delaney.
Yes.
Mrs. McBride.
No.
Ms. Mungo.
Yes.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Yes.
Mrs. Warning.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
no.
And Mr. Bova.
I'm going to go with the same indifferent. I'm going to go with yes. Yes.
Motion carries.
So that is tabled.
Well, you guys get to vote on it next time. Tried to save you some agony, but,
That
sorry.
was policy 005.
And 6. It was
That was both of them.
Yes, sir. So it's tabled.
06 was about, it doesn't matter, I thought. All right, excellent. What else we got? Anything?
Okay, yeah, we have number 2.
Are we tabling
No, we just tabled number 1 and vote. We tried to vote on number 1 and it was
the
tabled.
whole thing, not even we didn't
Discuss
separate
number
them?
2.
We didn't separate the meetings and the president?
Nope.
Okay.
Now we're moving on to number 2.
Can we move on to number 2? Do you have any, Leslie, you good on?
Well, yeah, it's done.
Okay. Okay, number 2 is basically reopening the athletic trainer bid, which has a termination clause in it. I think because we actually were anticipating that this might happen with all the construction that we're doing, the additional fields. Athletic committee had a little discussion with Coach Hall, who recommends honestly that with the amount of gymnasiums and fields that we're going to have for next year, that we should have 4 trainers. Right now, we have one full-time with an add-on for part-time that we pay hourly. So it's just a recommendation to open that up to bid so that by next school year, we can have enough trainers to cover the needs of our students.
So moved.
Second.
So that motion has been made and seconded. And Ms. Cerrucci explained it beautifully. Any other questions on that?
I do have a question. Is it cheaper for us to go through a facility versus us having someone on staff? I guess if we had someone that was an employee of the school district, it would cost us more money, right?
It would, because some of these people are part-time, because they only work in the evenings and the weekends. It's not a 40-hour-a-week job.
Okay.
So if we hired our own, we would be looking at,
More money.
we'd be looking at more money, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think Coach Hall is on, but
And the insurance
Is he on?
for the medical.
That's what I
part.
was thinking too,
Yeah.
but I just figured I would ask. 'Cause I think there are some school districts that do have their own.
I am on.
he's on.
Oh.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I was in this basketball event. I'm sorry, it was a little bit loud. I heard most of the discussion. I think the prudent thing, like you said, if we feel we have a larger need for more coverage, is to see if we can open it back up and allow the current company, Suburban, to make a proposal that is more amenable with what we want, and then see if anybody else can, give us a better proposal than that. And ultimately, the goal, like anything else, is to get the safety and the coverage that we need for all of our events all the time. And again, I don't think we need to be specifically. I mean, we've got great service from the company that we have. They just don't have enough coverage, I believe, at this point, from what we determined, or at least that's an opinion. So if we were going to look at different proposals, the goal is to get better coverage. And if we can get better coverage from them or from someone else, I'm all the way in.
Robin had asked if you ever had a school or you worked a place where the trainer was an employee of the district rather than a healthcare provider.
That would have to be something that I think would be negotiated perhaps by personnel. If we created a position of a full-time trainer on our staff, I don't know what the prevailing, rates would be. Obviously, that's not something I've seen, done at our place. I could do a little research and see if anybody else has a full-time district employee that serves that purpose, or multiple employees. But again, thinking of what we pay professional employees, whether we pay them by the hour, salaried. I don't know how that would compare to what it costs to use one of the agencies to do it.
Yeah, that's just my question.
We discussed this. You weren't here last week, were you?
Yeah, I was.
We discussed some of the numbers, and the public wasn't here.
Yeah, and I know
in the last bid for 2 trainers, it was $29,500 for a year when we had this bid out a couple years ago. I can't imagine us affording our own hire for that price. To me, it doesn't. I would guess it would not be economical to try to hire our own. Plus, at least when we're with an organization like the ones that are here now or have bid on this, they have a multiple pool of employees. And then they can go with the ebb and flow of the need, like in the fall, we may have a lot more need than we do in August when it's football camp time. And then we also discussed, right now our trainers aren't year-round in the contract. They start in August football season, but we still have year-round activities going on nowadays. So it would be nice to have some trainers available in June or July. But the need for trainers then isn't going to be the same as it is like right now for winter sports and basketball and wrestling and football and cheer and.
Well, I didn't know if maybe there was someone already on staff that has the background to play both roles. So sometimes you have gym teachers that might have the background. So
Good question.
just wondering.
No, it's a good question.
And Dawn, am I correct also, if we do an additional facility, if God forbid one of these students does get hurt, continuity of care being through that facility?
Oh.
Yeah, I think what you're asking is, would we be maybe exposed or, have issues if we had an event that wasn't covered and had a catastrophic or other injury that, needed care. And I think there's a concern there for sure. And just to amplify something that was said in the previous discussion, the trainer that we do have and any trainer that is in any high school now, the amount of hours that they work is significant. So I think an hourly wage would not come close to what we're talking about. And certainly a salaried employee, 2 people for $30,000. I can't imagine that, unless we made it a supplemental again, but I don't even know how that would work.
We're looking also to the current trainer services expires June of 2025. Hoping that our school, Gateway Middle, opens next year in 2024. Of course, I'm just saying, could we or are we looking to pick up a trainer prior to the expiration of this current contract?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think we thought almost simultaneous with the opening of the new middle school or the renovated middle school and all the events that are going to be going on there. Again, 2 gyms and many fields, simultaneous to events going on at the high school. I would think right out of the gate in 2024, in that fall season, we would want to be covered. Certainly I think that was the thought that, Mary Beth had shared with me and we discussed it.
I was just, making that clear, that's all. Thank you.
And we need a 120-day notice for changes or cancellation of this, which is why we're doing this now, so that we're ready by the next school year, fall sports, or sooner. I didn't count out 120 days on the calendar.
Well, it's like 4 months.
December, January, February, March. You get time for spring sports. No, not really.
Any other questions?
No.
Nope. Let's have a roll call. Ms. Isha.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Ms. Mungo.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Boba.
Aye.
Mrs. Ruji.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, there you go. Let's move on. Comments from residents on non-agenda items. Anybody? No, excellent.
Excellent.
How about some reports?
All right, Mike, go pull up the administrative report.
Please. All right.
Okay, I got the click-o-maker. I think we're good. Thanks. We thought we'd do a quarterly update since the 9 weeks ended a couple weeks ago. So just to kind of give all of you a sense of where we're at in terms of our strategic initiatives that we kind of set out this beginning of the year. So we have four buckets of some strategic themes listed there. And keep in mind every bucket there is student-centered and future-focused. So that's what kind of drives us. Obviously, safe and supportive schools is a big one. Always continuous improvement of teaching and learning is the heart of what we do. meaningful communication, engagement, and technology innovation. We'll touch on a couple of these. Now, there are lots of things happening in these themes, so we're just going to highlight a couple of initiatives that we've been working on since August. So safe and supportive schools, really a lot has been going on. Some of it behind the scenes. The top two there, the student supports, is really an umbrella. When you talk about PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention Support, or MTSS. I know there's a lot of acronyms there, but it's a multi-tiered system of supports. Really, it's just supports for students. The Olveus Bullying Program as well. All of our teachers have been trained by a certified Olveus bullying prevention trainer. A lot of the schools already had their kickoffs in October in conjunction with Red Ribbon Week. Then you move to the right side there, digital citizenship and cybersecurity. So the digital citizenship side of things is really the student side of things. I mentioned it last week through Common Sense Education that we've been working with the intermediate units curriculum there with Common Sense Education. And thank our librarians for teaching that curriculum and becoming recognized as a digital citizenship school. But on the other aspect of it is cybersecurity. We're keenly aware of what's going on in society with cybersecurity. So we've done phishing campaigns, and we continue to do phishing campaigns. We have done trainings. You approved tonight some vulnerability testing and penetration testing as well. So that's going to be happening moving forward. And then we've had a lot of people ask in the board as well about the PA State Police recommendations. And so now that some of this is done, we'll mention it. So the bowlers that you've seen in the elementary schools and the high school and middle school here are up. Visitor management procedures have changed. Most of the red boxes now are outside. Fixtures and hardwares that you may not notice, but some of those things have been done. Gates, for instance, at University Park, there's now a gate going back to the playground, and some door upgrades as well. We just got our batch of radios, around 120 new radio upgrades this week. Camera upgrades, the Alice protocol, we're on a system with that. We do Navigate 360 for the Alice procedures and the whole social emotional learning. So it's not all about the physical aspect of the buildings. There's a lot of other things going on as well. And so, I mentioned the continuous improvement of teaching and learning. That's really the heart of what we're here for. So the Future Ready data was released, and we've been going over that with principals. Dr. Chicky and I have had individual meetings with building principals, and those are still ongoing, reviewing the data. And we'll publicize that here shortly. Curriculum mapping is still going on, and our department chairs of the high school are working really hard on that. With that initiative. And you can see this is just a snapshot of a curriculum blueprint that we hope to have live by May. And so parents would be able just to go on, click on it, and it will tell you a little bit about the class. We have some control over what could be shared. So we have the abstract, the course summary, those types of things. So we're hoping to get that up and running.
Almost like a course catalog.
It could be like a program of studies, yes, on steroids, for lack of a better word, yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to having this up, and again, teachers have done a great job getting it in there and get it up to date. And then the program of studies review, and this kind of goes along with the comprehensive plan that we're working on, just having maybe pathways for students, career pathways, taking a look at graduation requirements and a portrait of a graduate. What are those skills and dispositions we want our Gator graduates to have when they leave here? So those are just some of the things that we're working on and engaging the families with as well. And then technology and innovation, was just down CCAC for advanced manufacturing session. We had industry there as well. And they talked about the rapid change of technology, and so it's here. They talked about a little bit about artificial intelligence, but the one blind side of it is that innovation piece. So we don't want to forget about that when we're talking about technology.
It has a lot of blind spots.
Yeah. Yeah, so we want to embrace it, but also be cautious as well. Yeah, and we always think of technology as a tool. It's learning is the goal, and technology is the tool. Sometimes it's a good tool, and sometimes there's other ways to accomplish our goals. And then, this has been a big push here, both internally and externally, just meaningful communication and engagement. That's our action plan. Here's some things we've done, obviously that communication plan, the parent square that we've rolled out fully. And then stakeholder engagement, really wanted to get the students involved as well. So we had at the top there's only one little picture of it. We had a superintendent student advisory committee with me, Mrs. McCrowan, and Dr. Chakey, having Mr. Stevens as well. And we had lunch with the students. We bought pizza and things, and had a great conversation with the kids. We have great kids here. We have great students, and it was great. They gave us some great feedback. They were very honest, complimentary, honest too. So I mean, it was very good. And I couldn't say anything better about our comprehensive plan, our kickoff meeting. We had, as I mentioned, close to 80 sign up, but we know people are busy. We had around 30 folks there. Just good collaboration and discussion. There's only two groups you see down at the bottom. We had each principal kind of facilitate a group. We got another meeting coming here up at the end of the month. And again, we're going to talk about mission, vision, values, our core beliefs, talk about the portrait of a graduate, those types of things, program of studies. So again, this is about engagement. When we say meaningful communication, it's really two ways. So we got to listen and we talk and communicate. So that's the engagement piece.
You have to plug that a little better. November 30th.
November. That's my invitation.
In the
That's
library.
my invitation for the people that signed up. But yes. And then some of the things we're moving forward with, some of the beginning phases, the budget planning process, we're going to tweak a little bit internally, and we'll actually start that in December and roll that out in January, February. But we're looking at some different ways on how to get some more efficiencies with the process. But we can't forget about long range planning too. So we do have Gateway Middle School, but there are other capital improvements that need to be made. Take a look at school capacity and any other upgrades and enrollment projections. So having a long-term vision as well. And then everyone's experiencing this, the workforce development piece. And this is really about employees, but we really want a workforce development piece for our students too. But this one is directed towards the employees. So we will talk a little bit more about recruitment. And then once we have them, here we go, how we retain them. And that goes with onboarding. We want to strengthen our onboarding process as well, and get involved with universities. So we have a lot of local universities. We want to, get in their student unions, and attract teachers and other employees as well. Any questions on any of those? And I do have one more thing before I close.
No, that's a lot.
All right, thank you. I do want to recognize, tonight we recognize two individuals who have dedicated their time, energy, and passion to our school board. Their contributions have been instrumental in shaping the future of the district. First, I'd like to acknowledge Mary Beth Cerrucci, who has served on the school board from 2015 to 2023. Her 8 years of service have been marked by her unwavering commitment to the district, and her contributions have played a significant role in the progress and achievements of our school during her tenure. Next, I'd like to acknowledge Scott Williams, a devoted school board member from 2001 to 2023. For over 2 decades, Scott has been a pillar of guidance for our district. His dedication and longstanding service has undoubtedly left a positive mark on the district. As they step down from their roles, we express our deepest gratitude for their service. We wish them all the best in their future endeavors. Thank you, Mary Beth and Scott, for your remarkable service and dedication to our school.
Lovely. Okay, let's go around. Dr. Chakey, anything?
Nothing. Thank you.
Socrates, you got anything for us?
Good, thank you.
Andrea?
I'm good. Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Ritter?
Sure, the Allegheny Intermediate Unit has 13 members on its board. 2 of the members were not elected during this previous cycle, so there are 2 slots open. They sent a note to all the school board members here saying that if you would like to serve on that board, it would be proper to fill out some documentation after the reorganization next month and then submit that. So I'm just tossing this out to any school board members or future, school board members, if you'd like to be on that. What we need to do is conduct a vote. a majority of the board votes to have you send that letter to the AIU so that you could serve the remainder of the 2023-24 term. So you have 1 year on that AIU 3, and you serve all 42 school districts in a dispassionate way.
Okay. I think Dr. Singh would be good for that.
Thank you.
Think about it.
There'll be a vote next week, so that's good.
Ms. Delaney? Susan, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I just unmuted myself. Yes, this is so weird to be on the other side of the room like this, but believe me, I don't think I could have sat through everything. Unfortunately, I am in a lot of pain, but that too will pass. But I just wanted to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. I'm very grateful, and that gives us a time to reflect on all the things we are grateful for. And I'm grateful that I did have a successful surgery and now on the other side of the mend. And I'm really looking forward to running around more now. But that being said, I also want to let Bonnie know she's been invaluable to me because I always come to her confused and out of sorts, and she has been so wonderful in helping me do things that I need to get done. So I definitely will miss her. And actually, I will also miss Mary Beth and Scotty, not seeing them sitting around the room. It's going to be different. And I appreciate all the service and the time that they have put into our school board. It means something. It's very important to all of us. And as I said, just everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I hope to see everybody on the 5th of December.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Warning.
Yes, I just want to wish Scotty and Mary Beth the best of everything. Thank you for all your services. It's been rough sometimes, but we got through it. Moving forward, because we're here for the best for our kids, and that's how we look at it. So, wishing everyone a good holiday, and that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Cerrucci.
I got nothing. No, just kidding. Of course, I saved up like my last 3 board reports so I could use it all tonight, right?
Go, girl.
No, I mean, when it's your last school board meeting, you think, well, what am I going to say? It's been 8 years. I can't imagine Scotty's speech is going to be like an hour because he's been here over 20 years, right? I wouldn't give any advice for any new board member. If you want to know anything at all about Gateway in the past, just call Scotty because he knows everything that has ever happened in this place for the last 30, 40 years. Don't you, Scotty?
Nope.
Yes, he does. He does. So I thought, we definitely have had some ups and downs over the last 8 years. We started on the board at the same time, as well as you, John. And we've had some very contentious school boards, and we've had some very amicable school boards. And, when you're a school board member, a lot of times you have a bullet on your back, a target of, sorts. But overall, I would encourage anybody to run for school board or any local office because, as a person, I've grown. And you get a sense of accomplishment. And, there's days when we argue and we don't get along. But when it comes down to it, I respect every single person around this table, and I do consider all of them friends. And that goes for the administration, too. Gateway has an amazing staff. And I thought, okay, what else? What am I going to talk about? And I wanted to highlight the accomplishments that I think over the last 8 years that should be noted, and I think the number one was starting the school police force. And for those of you who were here when we started that, it was contentious.
My mother was mad at me.
It was very contentious. It passed, I think 7-3. People didn't like the idea. And Gateway has always been a leader and an innovator, and we don't do what other people do, we lead.
Later
and
she said,
I would say,
you were right. Mary Beth was right to bring this up, so my mother thanks you.
well, as Scotty said, that there's no I in team, it's we.
Either.
It's all of us. But obviously you guys can tell in retrospect, that was a great decision. And now if you don't have a school police force or some type of security force, you're in the minority. So we led on that, and I'm very proud of that. And that program continues to grow and improve, and Dr. Chakey does a great job leading that too. So that's probably my number one highlight. And then, of course, we have all the new hires. I mean, look around the table. It is so different. One of the first hires that we made was Dr. Rossi and Dr. Chakey, saying that was a great choice. And everybody else that followed. School consolidation. My goodness, was that a long process. That started back when Nina Zetti was still the superintendent, before I was even on the board. One of my first school board meetings was Building and Grounds, when we were looking at the optional plans for how we could consolidate our district. That had to be 8 years ago, probably when we were first on the board. So it took, and they started that before. So it took over 8 years to get where we are, where we have this building that's going to be opening for next school year. I mean, what a process. And every time a new school board comes on, things change and you have to repeat and you have different opinions. And I remember on the table at one point was a neighborhood elementary school, consolidating all the schools into one. And I'm so glad we didn't do that, because people in this community really value their neighborhood schools. And I'm really glad that we kept those for them. Getting through COVID. Wow. Try being the school board director in Monroeville during COVID. But our faculty and staff did amazing. I mean, they literally had to learn how to teach on the fly from home. So again, that just shows how Gateway leads and how they don't let obstacles get in the way, and they should be commended for how they handled COVID. And we also had one-to-one computers in our technology department. We were ahead of the game, because a lot of schools during COVID didn't have that. I remember reading news stories about people printing copies of Ditto's papers to take to elementary school kids. I mean, we were in a good position. So kudos to the administration, the technology department, for making those things happen. And then the COVID graduation ceremony of 2020. My son was a senior that year, and schools were canceling graduations. They weren't having them. Some of them were doing them on Zoom. And our principals came up with the mall idea.
Let's go to the mall parking lot.
And I first heard that, and I'm like, what? The mall? And it literally turned out to be the best graduation in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm telling you. Bonnie, you remember, we got phone messages from people who saw it on the news, who didn't even live in our community, who called and left messages commending us on the graduation that we put off that year for our students. We did. We found a way to give them a graduation that they deserved. So those were my the best highlights of the last 8 years. And then I thought about challenges that you all face. Some of the new board members are sitting here in the audience that you face going forward are going to be continuing to address the COVID learning loss, as well as behavior issues. There's a lot of behavior issues related to the impacts of kids being out of school and being home. Continuing to deal with distractions of cell phones in the classroom and technology. Transitioning to the new building and then deciding what to do with the old one. There's a lot of ideas, a lot of potential. You're going to have a lot of decisions to make. But I know that you'll do good. I know that you'll continue to lead in those areas. And I encourage you to not be afraid to not do what other people do and continue to be leaders in those areas. And then I thought about the two biggest concerns I have about our students and just our community. And that is divisiveness and lack of patriotism that we see in our country today. I think that in my career, I do a lot of surveying in the political world, and generally, most people are pretty darn tired of the divisiveness that exists in the country. And I think that, you see extremes presented in the media of both sides, but most of us really aren't on the extreme left or right. We're in the middle. And I think, as a new board and as a community, we need to make sure that we come together. COVID was very divisive. A lot of things are divisive. But I think moving forward, it's really important for the good of the students and the community that everybody try to be united. And we talked about, boards that we've been on that were divisive. and that's a disservice to the community. You know, we have learned, I think this board has learned, that when somebody disagrees with you on an issue, they're not your enemy, they're not evil, they don't have bad intentions, they just see the world a little differently, and they see different paths to get to the same place. We all want our kids to be successful, we all want our community to thrive, but we don't always agree on how to get there. So it's really important that you, moving forward, remember to keep united and not make each other enemies. Although, you know, it's okay to shout it out once in a while. We've had many of those. It can be productive. But in regards to, I mentioned lack of patriotism. I heard it quoted on the news. We have a national identity crisis and a loss of national pride that we have seen on display in the news in our next generation, which is potentially existential for America. And the schools have a big part in turning that around. So I'm going to challenge you guys to make patriotism, love of country, a priority. And what I did was I looked at, this is a great book, America's God and Country. It's quotes of our founders. So of course, I had to go to somebody better than myself, which would be past presidents, for advice. I only have about 8 more pages to go. So what I found was on the topic of patriotism, George Washington said, "The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any title derived from local discriminations. With slight shades of difference, you all have the same religion, manners, habits, and political principles. Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports." That was one. Abraham Lincoln, another founder, said, "Intelligence, patriotism, Christianity/religion, and a firm reliance on God, who has never yet forsaken this favored land, are still competent to adjust in the best way all our present difficulty." And one of my favorites, the great orator, who would that be, Mr. Boba?
A whole bunch of
It would be Ronald Reagan. It would be Ronald Reagan, of course. History does have a way of repeating itself, because when I was looking through all these quotes, all the same concerns come up over and over again. Ronald Reagan had the nickname the great communicator. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. It wasn't even the orator, it was a great communicator. But he said, "I wasn't a great communicator, but I communicated great things. They didn't spring full bloom from my brow, they came from the heart of a great nation." He said, "Finally, there's a great tradition of warnings and presidential farewells." So this was 1989. 1989, President Reagan's giving his farewell address. And he gets to the point where he gives the warnings, and he says, "This has been on my mind for some time. Oddly enough, it starts with one of the things I'm proudest of in the past 8 years, the resurgence of national pride that I called the new patriotism. This national feeling is good, but it won't count for much, and it won't last unless it's grounded in thoughtfulness and knowledge. And informed patriotism is what we want. And are we doing a good enough job teaching our children what America is and what she represents in the long history of the world? Those of us who are 35 or so," this was 1989, "of age, grew up in a different America. We were taught very directly what it means to be an American, and we absorbed almost in the air a love of country and an appreciation of its institutions. If you didn't get these things from your family, you got them from the neighborhood, from the father down the street who fought in Korea, or the family who lost someone at Anzio, or you could get a sense of patriotism from school. And if all else failed you, you get it from the popular culture. The movies celebrated democratic values and implicitly reinforced the idea that America was special. TV was like that too. But now, we're about to enter the 1990s, and some things have changed. Younger parents aren't sure that an unambivalent appreciation of America is the right thing to teach modern children. And as for those who create the popular culture, well-grounded patriotism is no longer the style. Our spirit is back, but we haven't reinstitutionalized it. We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare, and it's fragile, and it needs protection. So we've got to teach history based not on what's in fashion, but what's important. Why the Pilgrims came here. Who is Jimmy Doolittle? What were the 30 seconds over Tokyo? If we forget what we did, we won't know who we are. I'm warning an eradication of the American memory that could result ultimately in an erosion of the American spirit. Let's start with some basics, more attention to American history, and a greater emphasis on civic ritual. So I challenge all of you as educators and leaders and elected officials to bring back unity and patriotism and American pride back to our school system. Now I gotta find my notes. I think that was it. Yes, here we go. So in closure, I just want to say again, I'm thankful for the opportunity I've had to serve on school board for the last 8 years. I value the relationships and friendships I've made with each and every one of you. I wish you all the best of luck as you move forward and face these challenges, and to some of you who also are moving to new chapters in life. And in closing, God bless all of you. God bless Gateway School District. God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Cerruti. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, because of our history, as you were doing that, I was thinking of 8 or 9 things I disagreed with.
Don't bring them up now.
No. I'll save it for later, and we'll do what we've done, and I'll get to that later. Let's over to Miss Mungo.
Yeah, go ahead, follow that.
Nothing. Scotty.
I can't top Mary Beth. I've
Come on.
dealt with so many people throughout the years. Just thank everybody I worked with and the new school board members coming on. And like Val said, anybody, my phone's there. Call me if you need anything. I'll be around. And just remember, we're here for the kids in the community of Pitcairn and Monroeville. I think one of the saddest things I've seen as school board director was when we voted to close Pitcairn, because if anybody had a community school, Pitcairn had their own zip code, you know, and then we had a charter school come in. So, but again, you know, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Susan, I hope you get well soon, and I'll be around if you guys need anything. Thanks.
Thank you, Scotty.
So it's like changing of guards. So I thank Bonnie and Scotty and Mary Beth. You all have contributed in your own way, and especially Scotty. I remember first time I saw him was one of our candidate forums in Pitcairn or something, and obviously I could figure out who he was, and and he was very supportive then and all the time. So I thank him and all of you. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Yes, Lee.
Yeah, just thank you to Mary Beth, Bonnie, and Scotty for everything you've done for this district. And the guy had it, you're the pillar of greatness in this district. You know, always.
Yeah.
It's coming.
A bathroom?
The Scotty Williams bocce court.
Well, the courtyard.
Courtyard. Yeah. That's all I have.
Thank you. Well, I'd just like to wrap up. I wasn't here last week, so congratulations to our 2 new board members. We're all looking forward to working with you. Bonnie's been nothing but a joy. Even when she's angry, somehow she manages to bring some joy to that, which is quite a skill. So you will, of course, be missed. It's funny, these 2 that are leaving were pretty instrumental in me doing this. Scotty encouraged me to do this back at the beginning when there was a vacancy, which I appreciate. Ms. Cerruti vetted me in the most thorough and diligent way, which gave me an idea of how serious she was about doing this. We we don't agree on lots of things politically, but we've learned to disagree, how you do that, which was really a relearning. You know, for years, people disagreed on things and they parted amicably. It wasn't some venomous, hateful thing. And I don't know how that became so elusive and difficult, but I look forward to continuing these conversations in the future, certainly, with both of you. And it's been a pleasure and an honor serving with both of you. So good luck to both of you, and perhaps we'll see you again, because, you know, this thing, you know, people come back. So we shall see. And for me, that's it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And there's some cake there that someone brought to commemorate, because you got cake when people leave.